The morning sun blazed over the Red Sea on June 15, 2025, at 0730 hours local time. USS Mercy Angel, a converted Freedom-class humanitarian vessel, maintained course 270 degrees at 12 knots. Her destination, Port Sudan, carrying 4,000 tons of medical supplies and food aid. Captain Sarah Mitchell stood on the bridge, scanning the horizon through binoculars. The ship's ANSPS-73 surface search radar painted a clear picture of surrounding waters. 40 nautical miles southeast of Swakin, the first contact appeared on the radar screen. Petty Officer Rodriguez called out from the radar station, "Contact bearing 090, range 38,000 yards." The blip moved at 24 knots, closing fast on an intercept course. Chief Warrant Officer Jackson identified the signature. "Ma'am, that's a Sudanese Navy Al-Zubair-class Corvette." Captain Mitchell felt her stomach tighten as she raised her binoculars again. The Sudanese vessel SNS Khartoum emerged from the morning haze, her hull number 401 clearly visible. Armed with a single 76mm OTO Malera gun forward and twin 30mm cannons amidships, her crew of 68 sailors had been at sea for 11 days straight. The Corvette's commander, Captain Mahmoud al-Rashid, studied the American ship through his own optics. His orders from Naval Command were explicit: stop and search all vessels approaching Sudanese territorial waters. Intelligence reports suggested American reconnaissance ships disguised as humanitarian vessels. The radar operator aboard SNS Khartoum reported, "Sir, target is maintaining course and speed." Captain al-Rashid ordered, "Signal the American vessel to heave to for inspection." The International Maritime Frequency crackled to life at 0752 hours. "Unknown vessel, this is Sudanese Navy warship Khartoum. You are ordered to stop engines and prepare for boarding." Captain Mitchell grabbed the radio handset, her voice steady despite rising tension. "Sudanese vessel Khartoum, this is USNS Mercy Angel. We are a humanitarian vessel under international protection. Our manifest shows medical supplies and food aid for Port Sudan civilian population." The response came sharp and immediate. "Negative, Mercy Angel. Intelligence indicates reconnaissance equipment aboard. You will comply with boarding procedures or face military action." Captain Mitchell's hands trembled slightly as she keyed the microphone again. "Khartoum, we request safe passage under Geneva Convention protocols." The silence stretched for 37 seconds before the Sudanese reply. "Mercy Angel, you have entered our economic exclusion zone without proper authorization." Captain al-Rashid studied his tactical display as the range closed to 22,000 yards. His executive officer, Lieutenant Commander Nasser, reported readiness of all weapon systems. The 76mm gun swiveled toward the American vessel. Fire control radar locked onto the Mercy Angel's bridge superstructure. Aboard the American ship, electronic warfare specialist Morgan detected the targeting radar. "Captain, we're being painted by fire control radar. They have weapons lock." The atmosphere on both bridges grew electric with tension. Captain Mitchell ordered, "All stop. Lower accommodation ladder starboard side." The massive humanitarian vessel shuddered as her engines reversed thrust. White wake foamed around her stern as she slowed from 12 to 4 knots. SNS Khartoum approached from the port quarter, maintaining 800 yards distance. Captain al-Rashid observed the American vessel through binoculars, noting her defensive posture. No visible weapons mounts, but suspicious antenna arrays dotted her superstructure. The boarding party prepared, 8 Marines armed with AK-103 assault rifles. Lieutenant Khalil checked his equipment one final time before lowering the rigid inflatable boat. Waves reached 2 to 3 feet under partly cloudy skies. Wind from the northeast at 15 knots created challenging boarding conditions. The RIB approached Mercy Angel's starboard side at 0821 hours. Captain Mitchell watched the armed Marines climb aboard her vessel. Her crew of 42 civilian contractors and military personnel stood at assigned stations. Dr. Emily Chen, the mission's chief medical officer, supervised the inspection of cargo holds. Lieutenant Khalil examined shipping manifests while his Marines searched compartments. 20 minutes into the inspection, the Marine sergeant made a discovery. Hidden behind medical supply crates, 3 shipping containers marked only with numeric codes. The containers required special tools to open, raising immediate suspicions. Captain Mitchell insisted they contained water purification equipment. Lieutenant Khalil radioed his findings to SNS Khartoum. Captain al-Rashid felt vindicated as he processed the boarding party report. Suspicious containers discovered. Investigating contents now. The first container revealed advanced satellite communication equipment, high-gain directional antennas, and encrypted data transmission systems. The second container held atmospheric monitoring devices and weather balloons, equipment capable of intelligence gathering over vast ocean areas. "Dr. Chen protested, "This equipment supports our humanitarian mission coordination." Lieutenant Khalil remained skeptical as he documented each item. The third container contained the most damning evidence: sophisticated radar jamming equipment and signal intelligence gathering systems. Captain Al-Rashid received the final boarding report at 09:15 hours. His suspicions confirmed, he ordered the American vessel detained. Mercy Angel, you are under arrest for intelligence gathering activities. You will be escorted to Port Sudan for further investigation. Captain Mitchell's response came through gritted teeth. Khartoum, we reject your authority over this humanitarian vessel. We are proceeding to Port Sudan under our original mission orders. The standoff intensified as both captains refused to back down. SNS Khartoum moved to position herself directly across Mercy Angel's bow. Range decreased to 400 yards as the Corvette blocked further passage. Captain Al-Rashid ordered his gun crew to train weapons on the American bridge. The 76mm gun elevated to target the ship's command structure. Both vessels wallowed in the growing swells as tension reached breaking point. Lieutenant Commander Nasser reported contact from Sudanese Naval Command. Orders confirmed: prevent the American vessel from proceeding to Port Sudan. Use necessary force if the ship attempts to run the blockade. Captain Mitchell faced an impossible decision as radio chatter increased. Her communications officer intercepted multiple Sudanese military frequencies. Additional naval units were en route to reinforce the blockade. 2 more Al-Zubair-class corvettes approaching from the southeast. Estimated arrival time, 1400 hours. The humanitarian crew showed signs of stress as the situation deteriorated. Dr. Chen argued for immediate withdrawal to avoid escalation. Chief Engineer Thompson reported all systems ready for emergency departure. Captain Mitchell weighed her options while studying the tactical situation. The Sudanese corvette maintained position 800 yards ahead. Her twin 30mm cannons tracked the American bridge continuously. Radar contacts showed the approaching reinforcements closing steadily. At 09:47 hours, the first warning shot split the morning air. SNS Khartoum's forward gun fired 1 round 500 yards ahead of Mercy Angel. The 76mm shell struck the water with tremendous splash. Captain Mitchell felt the concussion wave through her ship's hull. Her crew ducked instinctively as the sound echoed across the water. Warning shot fired. You will comply immediately with detention orders. Captain Al-Rashid's voice carried new authority over the radio frequency. The American captain realized her position had become untenable. 2 more corvettes appeared on the horizon, their radar signatures growing stronger. Her single unarmed humanitarian vessel faced overwhelming naval force. The boarding party remained aboard, effectively holding her crew hostage. At 1000 hours, Captain Mitchell made her decision. Sudanese vessels, USNS Mercy Angel, will comply with escort to Port Sudan. We protest this action under international maritime law. The relief on both bridges was palpable as immediate crisis passed, but the strategic implications were just beginning to unfold. SNS Khartoum took position 1,000 yards off the American vessel's port beam. The 2 additional corvettes formed a triangular escort formation, course set for Port Sudan at reduced speed of 8 knots. The forced convoy would reach port in approximately 6 hours. Captain Mitchell filed urgent reports with U.S. Naval Forces Central Command. The message contained detailed accounts of the confrontation and illegal detention. Pentagon officials received initial briefings by 1100 hours Eastern Time. State Department personnel began consultations with Sudanese diplomatic contacts. The international media caught wind of the incident by noon local time. Headlines proclaimed, U.S. humanitarian ship seized in Red Sea. Sudanese government officials prepared statements justifying their actions. Claims of American intelligence gathering operations dominated their narrative. Regional tensions escalated as other nations chose sides. Egyptian naval forces increased patrols along their Red Sea coastline. Israeli military assets moved to higher readiness states. Saudi Arabia closed shipping lanes pending security assessments. The humanitarian crisis in Sudan continued to worsen without the delayed supplies. Thousands of refugees faced shortages of medical treatment and food assistance. International relief organizations condemned the military intervention. They demanded immediate release of the detained vessel and crew. Captain Al-Rashid maintained his escort formation, despite growing international pressure. His crew remained at battle stations throughout the 6-hour transit. Fatigue showed on both sides as the forced convoy approached Port Sudan. The American crew prepared for extended detention in foreign custody. Dr. Chen secured sensitive medical records and research data. Chief Thompson initiated emergency protocols for classified communication equipment. Captain Mitchell composed detailed incident reports for higher command. Her words would influence international response to the crisis. The larger strategic picture remained unclear as evening approached. Would this incident escalate into broader regional conflict? Could diplomatic channels resolve the immediate crisis? The answers lay in the decisions of leaders thousands of miles away. The Red Sea crisis of 2025 had claimed its first casualties. Not lives lost, but trust destroyed between former allies. The humanitarian mission had become a pawn in larger geopolitical games. The consequences would ripple across the region for months to come.